Welcome to Topic 2, which talks about the preparatory activities to be completed before initiating the benchmarking process. Prior to conducting a benchmarking visit, several preparatory activities are undertaken. The first step involves assembling the team by appointing a team leader who is always a WHO staff member. The team typically consists of 10 to 15 assessors in addition to the team leader. Assessors are chosen from the assessor's database, based on the specific expertise required for different functions. More than one assessor can be assigned to the same function for tutorship purposes or peer review. In some cases, one single assessor may be assigned to multiple functions that are interconnected, such as regulatory inspections and licensing establishments, or laboratory testing and lot release. Assessors have the responsibility to organize and divide the work among themselves for a more detailed assessment of related functions, especially in remote benchmarking situations. Once you have been selected to participate in a benchmarking, you will be requested to accomplish several administrative tasks. First, confirm your availability. Then, carefully read and sign the detailed terms of reference, the confidentiality agreement, the declaration of interest, and the contract. For on-site benchmarking, you will be required to make the necessary arrangements for travel and accommodation, prepare travel documents, including visas, and ensure vaccination requirements are met. Remember, you will need to submit an updated and valid certificate of the online training on the computerized GBT. To be ready for the benchmarking, you now need to install the CGBT software on your computer and import the country-specific data file into it. Upon submission of signed documents, you can request access to the SharePoint platform, where all benchmarking-related information, including the latest TOR, confidential data, and previous reports, are available. From a technical perspective, you will need to prepare yourself very carefully. Various resources are made available to you during the benchmarking process. These include openly accessible resources, marked with an I symbol here. You can refer to these resources at your convenience. These include the GBT fact sheet, GBT manual, where methodologies and steps of the benchmarking are described, the recently updated manuals for conducting pharmacovigilance field visits and observed audits related to regulatory inspection function. Additionally, there is a user guide for the CGBT along with online training on the same, and all publicly available WHO and other international guidelines. Certain resources have restricted access. They will be available to you after the confidentiality agreement has been signed. They are marked with a lock symbol and include previous benchmarking reports, the self-benchmarking reports populated by the national regulatory authorities which have been verified by WHO, background documents and evidence provided by the NRA for each function, the field quantitative tool, inputs from observed audits and field visits. You are expected to evaluate, assess, and familiarize yourself with all relevant documents and background materials provided in the SharePoint platform. Let's now explore more deeply how the verification of a populated GBT is achieved. What is the quantitative tool, and which type of inputs from the observed audit and the vigilance field visit you may have access to. In preparation for formal benchmarking, the NRA uploads a self-benchmarking report on SharePoint a few months in advance. An assessor will be appointed to verify the completeness of the self-benchmarking information. The verifying assessor is generally not part of the team which will conduct the formal benchmarking. He or she cannot be an expert in all functions. His or her role is to assess the acceptability of the evidence provided, without challenging the system or evaluating the appropriateness of approaches and contents. Comments and considerations from the verifying assessor are included in the assessor input section and you should replace them with your final assessment upon completion of the benchmarking. The quantitative tool is a summary document prepared by the NRA as part of the benchmarking activities. It serves to present key numerical data and provide you, the assessor, with an overview of the regulatory system in the country. For example, the quantitative data for country X would include numerical information on the pharmaceutical market, such as the number of medicinal products, medical devices, vaccines and blood derivatives marketed in the country. With regards to the extension of NRA activities, it covers details like the number of marketing authorization applications and variations, clinical trial applications, number of manufacturers, distributors, adverse events, regulatory inspections, and other relevant factors. In terms of human resources, the document provides insights into the number of staff units and their level of education. Moreover, it includes information on the financial resources, such as the annual budget allocated for regulatory activities. It is important to note that the quantitative tool is not mandatory. Observed audits and vigilance field visits are part of the preparatory activities for benchmarking. On-site visits are conducted with different scopes. The observed audit is an integral and complementary activity to benchmarking and is usually conducted a few months in advance. Emphasis is placed on inspection activities related to good manufacturing practices, inspectors' competency and attitude. The outcomes of the observed audit critically contribute to the relevant sub-indicators of the regulatory inspection function. A vigilance field visit may be necessary before benchmarking and can be conducted a few months in advance. The focus is on documenting the performance of vigilance programs, including pharmacovigilance or vaccine vigilance. The information and evidence collected during the field visit are used to support the assessment of the vigilance regulatory function. These activities provide valuable insights and contribute to the overall assessment process in preparation for benchmarking.